12b3. So we were saying last time how if you have a couple brothers who want to split up the inheritance, and one guy has already a neighboring field to his father's field, and he wants to inherit that father's field, and the other brothers are contesting and saying no, and he's claiming that it's going to be better for me if I inherit the neighboring land, so my land can be all one big land. And Gemara wanted initially, Rabba wanted to say, since they don't lose anything by giving him this one, they'll get an equivalent land somewhere else. So then, Kofin al Midat Sodom. We go and force him and we say, you can't act like people of Sodom who don't do chesed. Do a chesed, let him inherit that land next to his original land, and let him have one big lot.
That's in the case of a Bechor. What about the Yavam we talked about?
So this is by any brothers who are inheriting. The Gemara wanted to say it's machloket. The Gemara says it was machloket by Yavam. Abaye says you should be like a Bechor. Rava says it's not like Bechor. Halakha is like Rava. Halakha is like Rava. The Yavam inherits the dead brother's stuff, but he doesn't get treated like a Bechor that he can demand that my two portions should be together.
How do you remember these rabbis and what they
just look back.
What they said?
We did it yesterday. Well, how can you forget what we did yesterday?
Just turn the page. You can
Says the Gemara. Says the Gemara.
You're doing it for 40 minutes a day. He's doing it for 10 hours a day. 15 hours a day. Big difference.
Says the Gemara. So what? Rav Yosef argued. Rav Yosef argued on Rabbah, and he said, "No, the brothers do have a loss over here. It's not that Kofin al Midat Sodom. We say don't be like Sodom and don't do chesed. Do chesed. It's not chesed here," says Rav Yosef. They are losing something. What are they losing? Let's do the note. So Rav Yosef said the field is valuable to us like the property of the wealthy barbarian household, whose fields, 12b3, whose fields are the highest quality, 28. According to Rashi, the Gemara discusses fields that subsist solely on rainfall. Thus, even if the soils of such field are equal quality, they still will produce different yields if they receive different amounts of rain. The brothers therefore can say, we want to share the field that you want because it might receive more rainfall and produce more. So they're saying there's some money that we're standing to lose by giving you this field specifically. You're telling me, oh, give me this field, it's my neighboring land, you have nothing to lose. I do have something to lose. You're going to make more money off this land. Of course you're going to want this land. We also want that land. So therefore, Rav Yosef says that they can claim this, and therefore they're not compelled to give him the neighboring land.
It shouldn't be split based off of size of land. It should be split based off value of land.
Yes, that's what Rav Yosef is saying. Rav Yosef is saying if the case is that they're going to lose because of the value, because of the profits they could bring in, so then they can claim that we don't have to share with you.
But wouldn't the rabbis tell you also that Parnasa comes from up above?
But if I give you a desert and I give him like an irrigated land,
My friend, for 40 year,s right, very nice. For 40 years, the Jews succeeded in the desert.
yeah, like
Hashem provided for them, so that's what
It's
I'm
easy.
saying.
It's easy for you to say for the other guy that he should have the Muna.
No, that's what I'm
Right?
saying, because the rabbis are on a different level. Me, forget it.
No, they're not talking about rabbis. They're talking about random two brothers, random people.
your father has two pieces of land, one in the
These two
Hamptons and one in.
rabbis from a couple of thousand years ago.
If these two rabbis were arguing about inheritance, there wouldn't be an argument. They would just give in to each other. But the rabbis are making the halacha for all Am Yisrael. You understand? So in a fight like that, at the end of the day, part of
Let's
it.
say fight. Let's just say
Discussion.
Hey,
Yeah, there's discussion. So and you know this is part of Ishtadlut. This is part of Ishtadlut. Amen. Okay, so Trei Arata, Trei Nagri. So the Gemara says another case. Two brothers inherited an estate that includes two tracts of land situated on two irrigation canals. Can one of them demand that the tract that borders his property? 29. Yeah, go ahead, Dr. 29.
As a general rule, when brothers inherit a number of fields, each field is divided between them. No brother can demand that he be allotted an entire field in return for his relinquishing his share in the others. In our Gemara's case, however, one brother indeed requests such an
allotment.
Yeah. He argues as follows. Excuse me, guys. Can we eat later? We two brothers have inherited two irrigated fields, each with a canal running through it. Only I, though, own land adjacent to one of these fields. Please allot me the field adjacent to my land, so that I will own one large tract of land rather than two smaller ones scattered over the area. The Gemara now presents two views on whether the other brother must honor the request.
Okay, good. So usually when we have multiple fields, we split each field multiple ways. He's asking, give me one whole field next to my neighboring land, and you guys take the other field. Don't split each field in half.
Why can't he just do that? Let's say this is his field.
Yeah.
This is the father's field, right?
Yes.
This is the entire land. As long as he has more than 8 amot, let's say, quote unquote, he can split that in two. This part will still be his.
Right.
This is also rich.
So he's asking, make it that instead of us having a half here and a half in the other field, you take that whole field, I'll take this whole field, and the kids. That's it.
So there's two situations. Situation one is if it's the same value,
Good.
then I will tell you.
What's the difference?
You
Yeah.
can get the whole thing.
Yeah,
because
right.
It's the same value. If that side has barely any value,
Right.
I will tell you, let's take this. We have to
Split
it
it.
in half.
50-50,
properly,
yeah.
And go from there.
100%. I agree with you. Let's see what the Gemara says. Amar Rabba. Rabba says, Kofin al midat Sodom. In this case, we force the brother and we say, don't be like Sodom. Be nice, do a chesed, and go and let him have that whole field. Matkiv le Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef argued again, and he said, no, there is a loss over here. It's not a chesed. Zimnin de hai midvil, vailo midvil. There will be times that this canal will have water, and the other canal will dry up and have no water. So therefore, the brother can insist that since one canal might dry up, he wants to always have access to the other. So therefore, they'll split both fields 50-50. Hilchata, halacha zak Rav Yosef. Like you said, doctor, very good. Chad nagra, treitar arda, had nagra. So now you have a third case. The case where you have an estate that has 2 tracts of land situated on one irrigation canal, and the canal irrigates both of them. So what do? Can one brother force the other and say, give me my neighboring land? Amar Rav Yosef, look at this. Rav Yosef over here says, Rav Yosef says, in this case, I agree. We force the brother not to be like Sodom, and we say, hey, listen, go and give him that whole field because it's his neighboring field. Don't force him to split it in half.
That defeats the whole thing that he's saying. So it could be they're going to come later and say, don't read it like this, read it like that.
No, because in the previous case, there was 2 canals. So there was a claim that maybe one will dry up. But here, there's only 1 canal. So you can't say that, oh, I want to have a portion in that field because I want to have access.
Both of them,
they have access to the same canal. They have access to the same canals.
It irrigates both of them equally. He
Yes, yes.
So what's the difference? If he irrigates it straight down the middle, let him just get this.
So what do they want to do? What do they want to do? This is what they want to do. You have 2 fields, okay, and 1 canal in the middle.
Correct.
So what brother B wants to do is cut this in half, and brother A is saying, no, let me take this one and you take this one. So he's saying, what? What are you going to claim?
But if you think about it, it's the same thing.
Yeah, but what are you going to claim? You're going to claim, oh, if you take this whole one, I might be without water. We share the same canal.
You're sharing, exactly.
All right, so therefore, instead of cutting this in half and half, give me this whole side. That way I could build a whole lot over here like this big house, and you'll still have your land. So he's saying, the Gemara says, or if Yosef agrees in this case, we say, we force you not to be like Sodom, do a chesed, help a brother out. Great team won yesterday. And therefore, a person has to know that this is what Rav Yosef agrees. That's what Yosef agrees, yeah? He's our sponsor. Okay, Matkif le Abaye. Abaye said, Rav Yosef, I don't agree with you. There is a claim the brother could say. What's the claim? He could say, I want him to increase the number of sharecroppers he hires so that my field will be better protected. Therefore, I demand a share in both fields. 34 in area.
I refuse to allot you the field adjoining your tract of land, because it is advantageous to me that I be allotted that field, since if I am allotted that field, my field will lie between 2 of yours. As a result, you will feel compelled to hire more sharecroppers to cultivate the fields that you otherwise would have. This is an advantage to me because it will make my field more secure.
So if we split 50-50 each land, there'll be more sharecroppers, and therefore I'll feel more secure, then nobody will come and steal my fruit, because we'll have more employees on premise. If we just split 1 field for you, 1 field for mine, so then we're going to have much less workers on each field. There's more of a chance that I'll get stolen from.
Why less workers? How it doesn't make sense.
So again, if I have half in this field and half in that field, I'm going to have to hire one of my employees to be there and one of my employees to be there. If I had 1 whole field from him, brother A, and 1 whole field for brother E, so then 1 employee will do this whole field and 1 employee will do this whole field. But now that it's 50-50,
One,
the same thing,
one and
Rabbi.
one and one and one is the same thing. You
no,
ever heard of
each guy's gonna hire, instead of hiring each brother hiring one guy, each brother's gonna hire two.
If you have four is supposed to, because when you have split it this way, the one brother has two here and the other brother has two here. If you have split, you have one guy watching here, one guy watching here.
Yeah. So instead of 2 employees, now there's gonna be 4 employees.
Well, why can't they just split the employees?
Okay, each one's planting something else. Each one's in charge of something else.
They can't split
They can
free
split
land.
it. They can-
You want to split the land, the money that they have to pay themselves?
Yeah, they're talking about profits. It's the
It's
profits
the
over
same
here.
money, it's just the responsibility of certain portions is a little
Right,
bit different.
right. So each one tells each other, you hire your employees, you hire mine, and I'd rather you hire 2 than hire 1.
What do you think?
Says the Gemara, does Rav Yosef accept? Does the Rabbi accept? Does Rav Yosef accept the Abayi's answer? The Gemara says, "Ilchata Rav Yosef." Allah is like Rav Yosef, and what? Apushi ariseh la miltahi. The benefit that accrues by adding sharecroppers is not a relevant consideration. Why not? 35. That is, one brother can request to be allotted the entire field adjoining his property, as long as the other brother incurs no loss through this. Now, in this case, the other brother indeed incurs no loss if the fields are allocated in this manner. He merely forgoes the additional protection that his field would have received if he was divided otherwise. This is not a valid reason to deny the brother's request. It's not called a loss. In the Chol HaMoed, right, we say, oh, because he didn't get the extra deal, it's not called a loss, it's called profits, right? So here, you would have profited having extra security. That's not called a loss. This is a potential gain that you missed out on. It's not a loss of principle, you understand? Okay, good. So Allah is like Rav Yosef, and therefore the guy can demand to get everything at once. Let's do a few more lines. We'll end it over here. 13a1. Gemara said Chad Gisa Nagra, Chad Gisa Nara. Let's say one side of the field borders a canal, and one side of the field borders a river. So Palgin Le Bekarnazu, divided through the corner. Yeah, exactly. Look at the picture in Tosafot on the corner on the Hebrew side, all the way top left. So what happens is you have this field. On one side is a river, one side is a canal. So
What does it say?
So what?
Drum?
This is north, south, east, west, and then the corner says river, and one corner says canal. So they want to get the benefits. They want to get the benefits of both the river and the canal. So they should split it in a corner diagonal. That way they get the same access to both.
You cannot build anything. Because
Well-
it's like a triangle.
Yeah, but then you'll have access to water. That's the main thing that they want. Number 2,
Triangle was actually
see
nice.
diagram 1. This differs from a conventional division because generally a field is divided in half, either along the north-south line or east-west line. Such divisions, however, will be inequitable in our Gemara's case, where one side of the field borders a canal and the other borders a river. In this case, the northern and eastern portions are more desirable than the others because they adjoin a water source. The eastern portion, however, is the most desirable because it borders a river, which is a better source of water than a canal. Hence, if the field were divided along north-south line, the brother allotted the eastern portion would receive the entire river and half the canal, whereas the other would receive nothing but the canal. So therefore, you can't divide it like diagram 2. Diagram 2 would not be fair, right? Because one guy has the river, one guy has nothing from the river. Similarly, the field would be divided along the east-west line. The brother would receive the northern portion, would get the canal and half the river, and the other one will only get half the river. Look at diagram 3. The bottom guy doesn't have any access to the canal, so it doesn't make sense to split it that way. So divided equitably, then the field is divided into 8 sections, and each brother takes every other section. So if it was in the picture, like on the top left on the Hebrew
Makes
side,
sense on the top left on the Hebrew side.
yeah, but that's because they were opposite sides. But let's say it's on north. Let's say it's on north, east and south. If it's on east and south, so therefore you have to chop it that way. That way each person gets the same access to everything. This division is indeed equitable because each brother then receives one section adjoining the river and one section adjoining the canal. The remaining sections adjoin neither.
Why can't they just share it instead of breaking up the entire They can just share the land.
You're right. They technically could,
Because
but they're demanding.
And derech. 2 different things.
Again, with brothers and business, it's not doesn't automatically go together. Doesn't automatically.
So does the Gemara say you shouldn't work together with brothers?
If the older one, the other one is going to listen to the other one. He's going to put his head down. Yes, but if not. Baruch Amen.